Hi, my name is Amy Conklin, and this is my final video for my ePortfolio for the comp exam, kind of bringing everything together. First of all, I really do feel like I've had a great experience through the Fort Hays State program, both online and then through the activities that I have completed to get my endorsement. I feel like they've provided me with a foundation of a good basis for understanding educational leadership, the role of a principal, and I feel that I am prepared to possibly step into my first role. So to begin with, my goals in the program, I really, being a school psychologist, and I've been a school psychologist, this is my 18th year. My thought was really, I wanted to go into special education administration and move my way into being an assistant director. I felt that's where my skills best lie. I've worked with principals and, obviously closely in different situations, but I didn't really know the job in and out. I didn't see some of the behind the scenes work. So, in doing a variety of activities, and then, of course, all the classes, the exposure that's given to me, I've kind of opened up my goals professionally to include the thought of being an assistant principal somewhere. So, I'm not completely shutting that door. And I would tell you, a lot of that has to do with the coursework and just my exposure to now knowing what a principal does day in, day out. Obviously, my knowledge isn't as complete as um, someone that's done the job, but I do feel like I have a good background now where that's something I possibly could do. My leadership philosophy has changed as well from the coursework. To begin with, I was probably more of an authoritative thinker. I was just going to come in, tell people what to do, and they were going to do it. Um, so through the coursework and some of the activities that I've completed, I see that really you've got to listen. You've got to collaboratively work with people. You can't just dictate what's going to happen, or they're not intrinsically going to want to do that, and you could have lots of resistance. One of the articles that I read for my bibliography was exactly around what new principals need to do when they come into the role. And one of the things they said was just to listen. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. Find out what's happening well, find out what the veteran teachers think, and just take a step back before you try to make any changes. And that's something I'm really going to have to focus on. And I would like to think as I've become um, just, I've learned more about the leadership role, that I can take a reflection back and just really work on collaboratively working with everyone to develop future plans. So, again, my leadership philosophy has gone to more of that collaborative work, including community partnerships. That's one of the things I think my knowledge was lacking in, is how important stakeholders are in accessing information from the community, asking what they think. So again, that's where these classes have really broadened my exposure and helped me to become more comfortable with educational leadership. I've been really fortunate, both in the district I work in as well as the service center I work for. I've been given lots of great opportunities for leadership. One of those is being on the district leadership team through the KISA process. So that gave me some work as far as building a vision, developing some overall district goals with the accreditation process, and kind of being able to lay some groundwork there for where the district should be headed. Other things that I've been able to do is through my alternative school that I work with through the service center. I'm on a leadership team there. And through that, I was able to help the school develop a budget, develop their schedule. And we are a K through 21 program. So that schedule can get pretty difficult when you have only an X number of staff and you've got to make sure you're giving the right high school credits. And so that gave me a glimpse into how, boy, you've got to share staff and do all of that, and building a schedule that can be really difficult. I also was able to focus on classroom management and a discipline matrix, helping the teachers to figure out what they wanted to use in the classroom and supporting them with that process. And I do feel that classroom management is an area that building principals really do have to help teachers with, especially new staff. And that's something I was able to be exposed to through my John Dewey leadership team. Other opportunities I've had, I've been able to become a member of CASE, which is Special Education Administrators here in Kansas. The Service Center has allowed me to be part of Region 3 meetings, so I get to talk with other special education administrators. I also was able to go to their winter conference, and I was able to hear different speakers talk, connect and meet other special ed administrators, talk to them about what are some of the areas that you think we should focus on in special education. I also, through one of the speakers, they talked directly about evaluations and how maybe learning disability needs to look different through our evaluations. And I brought that back to our school psychology team, and we're actually doing a book study this year utilizing that book, and I got that from the conference. So that's been great to take that information and then directly put it into practice. I've been able to do some staff trainings, both at the district that I work in and with my special education staff. So I was pretty heavily involved in the ASQ process that the state wanted all kindergarten and preschool students to be screened using the ASQ. I supported the service center in doing some IEP trainings, and also with my alternative school did some supervision, how to adequately supervise all aspects of a school. Where are some areas that are difficult that we need to take a look at? How can we change the environment? Kind of supporting the staff in that way. I also had an interesting opportunity present itself. Some members from the community approached me about doing kind of a Special Olympics kind of program. There were two gentlemen from the community that do kind of baseball instruction with kids that want to get better with baseball, softball, that kind of thing. Both of them felt really strongly that they wanted to include possibly children with disabilities, kind of into that more Special Olympics role. So I helped them in even getting started, connecting with the superintendent, making sure we were following all of the good FERPA rules, all of those kind of thing. Unfortunately, the program wasn't completely successful. They were able to work with a couple of students, and they hope to actually expand it this year. So that was just a fun opportunity that kind of landed in my lap, and I was able to support. One other thing I got to do with my district was be a part of enrollment and see what a principal's role is during that enrollment process, and support that ASQ screening again during that time. Currently, this is really exciting for me. My district, the middle school and high school, are going through redesign. So it's been great to be part of that leadership team. And again, you start with the vision, you start with the why, and then you work into kind of the nuts and bolts of what we're going to do. So I get to be an integral role in that process. And mainly my goal is to figure out how special ed fits into this. So it's kind of back to that special ed administrative role. So how does this all put together for my reflection? When I first started down this path, I had different people tell me, you're a natural leader, you should go into special ed administration. So that was my primary goal when I started this program. Again, as I said earlier, I do feel that the classes and the different activities that I've done have prepared me to possibly look into an assistant principal role. So as the spring comes about, that's something I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at special administration, but also possibly an assistant principal. Because I do feel like I have that great exposure and some different knowledge that I didn't have to begin with. So I want to keep both of those available as possible options for me. So again, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed the program. I've enjoyed the collaborative process that we've gotten to do with classmates during, the Oreo cookie reviews and different things like that. And I feel ready to move on as I pursue that next step into some kind of educational leadership position. Thank you.